Hi, welcome to episode 11 of my shooting landscape series. Today I'm just gonna do something easy. The shot I'm thinking about today is actually just capturing what I actually hope to be some of the last of the ice, because I really hope that it vanishes soon, but I thought it might be good to capture it before it actually vanishes. So I've set up the camera and I thought I might show you what my composition is like here. Well, here you can see I have the camera, and what I actually thought I would use, I'm just going to use these smaller rocks at a foreground. As foreground, I'm shooting it at 28 millimeters, and I'm shooting it actually to crop it a bit. Well, my thought is to make it more as a panorama, so it's gonna be more as you actually see it in the video, where I have like a bit here and a tiny bit of sky where I hope the color is gonna come through. You can see the line here where the ice is beginning and his water closest to the rocks here. So anyway, so I'm shooting it to crop the image a bit. Reason for doing that is simply, well, compositionally it's gonna work a lot better to have it as a wide shot, seeing as the scene is kind of wide instead of having it squarish. I do think it's gonna give a lot more to the image. Well, anyway, now it's just time to start to wait for the sun to set properly and to see what's actually going to happen with the sun when it sets. I could have a bit of a mission for myself here with the foreground, trying to get all the rocks wet. Sadly, I don't have any water bottles or anything with me, so it's gonna be by hand or feet. But it is true that the rocks do look a lot nicer when they're wet compared to, well, this dry, kind of dusty. Well, at least I would want to have the stones consistent and not have some of them wet and some of them dry. So I'm gonna start doing that now, and I'll update you in a bit. So I managed to get some of the rocks wet, but most of it is still actually kind of dry. It isn't too much water laying around there, and I can barely get it up anything with my hands, and I get nothing with my feet, and when I do get up something with my hand, it gets really cold, so well, I'm still convinced that it would have looked better, but damn, my hands are gonna get so cold. And well, the clouds are getting along quite nicely for now. Well, the look I'm going for is actually working fairly well with how the clouds are looking at the moment, and they're more like streak lines rather than puffies or anything like that, and it works really well, because the image is gonna be almost like it's gonna be layered with the foreground, and then a bit of water, then the ice background, and then the sky. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a bit unusual from me. It's not really what I usually shoot, but I think it's gonna look nice anyway. It's always fun to try something different. One mustn't be afraid to experiment with things. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, then it's great. So well, I did change my... Well, I tried around with the composition a bit more, and I did change some settings. I decided to go even wider, so I went all the way to 16 millimeters because I wanted more width in the shot. And instead of just stitching one main shot, well, actually, the complete skyline was 3 shots in the width at 16 millimeters, so it would have been quite a few if I would have stayed closer together. And sure, I could have done it, but yeah, I didn't think it was worth it. I mean, there's way more than enough pixels to do what I want to do with it, so it's not really a problem. And it's not a high detail. It's not a high detail shot either, so losing a bit of detail here and there won't hurt too much. I'm already starting to think what I might do post, so yeah, but I'm not gonna spoil it just yet. The color is actually almost completely gone. Taking one more shot here, I think that is gonna be the last. The sun actually vanished quite early. There is like a really thick cloud coverage lying on the horizon, so I think most of the color this evening actually came from while the sun was above the clouds and hitting back in the clouds above that thick beast lying there on the horizon. Well, that is like one of the things you really never know when you're out shooting landscapes. It's how the sun is going to react with the clouds and the weather. I've actually made that mistake quite often, that I thought it would be really bad light, and suddenly the clouds just blow up with amazing sunlight, and I'm sitting inside really angry. So one of the things that I've told myself is to stop trying to predict the weather, and every time there's even a slightest chance of anything that could be useful, just go out. Don't sit at home and try to outsmart the weather. To a certain degree it can be done, but not completely. Well, at least not by me, I guess. But sure, you can predict, like, if there is only a big cloud coverage all over the sky, then it's not gonna happen anything. The same if it's completely open, no clouds at all, then it's not gonna be any special color either. Then you have to think of something else. So yeah, always go out. Stop making excuses. I've made so many excuses for not going out before. it just takes so much longer time to evolve your photography skills if you just pass up on opportunities to shoot. So, well, the sun is completely set now, the color is gone, so I'm just gonna pack up and start to head home. What are my thoughts on this shoot? Well, I didn't have too many expectations, nor had I thought too much about what I would do at the location. I didn't even have a set location. It was basically when I set myself in the car I decided where I would go. But it worked out quite nicely, I think. Of course I have to see when I get to the computer, but from what I can see at the back of the LCD of the camera, it's actually looking quite nice, and I'm quite excited to see how the shot actually turns out in the computer. It's gonna have quite a lot of post-process work to be done to get the picture the way I want it. Quite a bit of, well, first of all I have to merge them into a panorama, and so it's gonna be more, I guess it's gonna be like a HDR panorama. But yeah, we'll see about that. Quite a lot of work, so yeah, it's kind of exciting. Some nice training, always trying to get better at the post-process work as well. So yeah, I think this shot actually worked out fairly well, considering that much of it wasn't planned at all. So that's all for this time. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.